Generations Bank has been serving the financial needs of the Finger Lakes region since 1870. Generations combines the best of modern banking with dedication to the local community. Visit them at mygenbank.com. Generations Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. This episode of FLX Weekly is brought to you by Auburn Auto Group. When it comes to selection and service after the sale, Auburn Auto Group has been the premier destination for new and used car buyers for close to 40 years. Whether you're looking for a new or used Chevy, GM, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Honda, Toyota, or Subaru, check out their inventory on Route 5 in Auburn today. And also, the Perfect Pair Eatery in Seneca Falls. Everything is made fresh with in-house smoked meats, cheesecakes, and marshmallows. Check out their unique menu of comforting creations, sure to please the entire family for lunch or dinner. Order online at perfectpaireatery.com or call 315-712-4004 and look for the yellow door at 64 West Barrett Street. It's Wednesday, August 7th, and this is FLX Weekly. I'm Josh Durso in for Jim Sinacropi, and this week it's all about taste and tunes. Rick Newman is my guest in studio. Rick, thanks for being here today.
Hi, Josh, thanks for having me.
So the biggest question on everybody's mind is going to be this: are tickets still available?
Tickets are still available, and they are still listed at the pre-sale prices right now. They do raise $5 at the door starting, tomorrow, the day of, and then at the door. So we have two separate tickets, over 21, because obviously there's alcoholic beverages involved, which we'll get to a little bit more of that.
Definitely.
But it is $25 per person before, and then $30 at the door day of. And then under 21, because we've got a nice selection of food for the youngsters, it is $10 pre-sale and $15 at the door. And then kids under 10 actually enter for free. So,
cool.
So we like to at least cater to the families. People don't necessarily have to worry about finding a babysitter or leaving their 10-year-old home alone. If they do that nowadays, I'm not sure. It was a little different from when we were growing up, maybe.
Yeah,
but
it is. Yeah.
But yes, tickets are still available.
Yeah. People's Park, 4 o'clock, Thursday night.
5:30.
5:30. Get that right. Talk to us a little bit about the space and how it transforms for this event this time around.
Yeah, so I don't know if a lot of people remember, but Taste and Tunes it started in the Generations headquarters parking lot. Yeah. So when it started growing over the years, Menzo and the team there wanted to find a more intimate setting. So People's Park, right along the canal there, you got the wide open grassy area, the bandstand for the music. It gives it much more of a relaxing, casual vibe. You know, people can show up and just, not have a worry in the world. There's usually a nice breeze, the sunshine. We've got a 40 by 60 tent that we've got available for people to sit under and enjoy the food, beverage, whatever it may be. Nate Michaels will be performing live acoustic music from 5:30 to 8:30 tomorrow night. And then all the vendors will be set up kind of around the perimeter, pop-up tents and tables and all that fun stuff. We've got high tops for those who don't necessarily want to sit. We've got raffle items. We've got 50/50. There's a wine pull, so you pay $10 for a Phantom bottle of wine. Well, not Phantom, but you don't know what it is. So it's all wrapped, and you take a chance, and you walk away with a bottle of wine for $10.
When you talk to the folks who have been involved in this now for the whole 15 years, the evolution of it, how taken aback are they by just how much energy this thing still has this many times around? Because it's hard to maintain that over a long period of time.
Sure, yeah. And I always say, out of the 4 marquee events that Generations Bank helps, host or put on, this is definitely one of the most fun. And I think it's kind of had that feel to it since its conception. But I think just the growth, you see the different vendors that have joined over the years. A lot of, unfortunately, some vendors aren't around anymore, some of the restaurants or something. But now all the new ones, we'll get to our vendors that we've got this year. We've got some new ones that have never been a part of it. But I think not only like the internal people see it grow and just kind of remain that strong event that helps out the 4 local food pantries. It's also the vendors that may not necessarily are a part of it one year, but then they see what goes on and they hear about the impact that it makes in the community. and they want to be a part of that. So there's that, that aspect to it as well from the local community and the residents and everyone else. If people are walking by, they see a tent, they hear music, they may not necessarily have heard about the event. Well, what's going on here? Come to the door, and we usually sell a couple tickets that way too. People just passing by. It's the visitors, tourists are in town. They may be looking for something to do, and that's just I think that's a great part of it as well. What's going on? What's the buzz? The tent's being put up right now, so that's also going to start generating. What's going on? Oh, it's tasting tunes.
Yeah.
So.
Let's talk about the fundraising element of this, because obviously it's the why, right? Like it's the reason why you guys are doing this. Who are we benefiting, and what is the impetus for it this year?
Yes, so the 4 local food pantries are the Seneca County House of Concern, Community Action Program in Waterloo, CAP, Trevor's Gift of Waterloo, and then the Seneca Falls Backpack Program. Now, those have been kind of the main beneficiaries over the years.
Yeah.
And again, it's evolved because you start raising more money and you're able to help benefit some other organizations maybe than what you were able to do when it first started. Yeah. Last year was a record-breaking year. We were able to raise and donate $13,500 between the 4 beneficiaries. And we do have a great partnership with the Bonifiglia Family Foundation that helps a lot with that, because it's also, it's a part of their mission to help in the same aspect. And just the volunteer work that comes from those 4 beneficiaries, they help get raffle baskets. They help volunteer during the event. They help sell tickets. They've got investment in this as well, because ultimately the money that they help raise is just going to come right back to them, in a certain way.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the need. Obviously, the 4 food pantries in Seneca County, they're working with very little throughout the year. Mm-hmm. How important is that donation that goes to those pantries when it comes to being able to sustain their operations through the entire calendar?
They're so grateful for the amount that they receive year after year. On the cost, some people may look at it and be like, well, that's really not that much. But they're not indulged in the work that they do day after day to see how much that money actually goes, in the long run, which is it's instant gratification for us too, to be able to do that check presentation, see the smiles on their face, and know that we were able to help. And again, that was one of Menzo's visions, was to continue helping these certain organizations in the community that, quite frankly, need it.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of Menzo, obviously he did a great deal for Seneca County. Mm-hmm. How important is it for events like this to continue on in his legacy, in his memory?
Yeah, I mean, you just said the word legacy, right? Just trying to keep the same vision and mission that he set out to do, to continue to grow, continue to elevate the experience of the certain events that he created in his head and made happen. It's one thing to have it on paper, but to actually see it through and make it happen is one thing that we continue to enjoy, and respectfully so.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the vendors.
Yeah.
Let's start with the food and drink side of things.
Sure.
What do we got going on?
We've got Red Brick Pub. I'm just going to kind of list them off and say a little bit of what people can expect. We've got Red Brick Pub, Perfect Pair Hospitality, Parker's on Fall. We've got I'm going off of memory here.
No pressure.
Mark's Pizzeria. We also have Simply Homemade. We've got It's a Wonderful Bakery, Sugar Mamas, which is one of the new bakeries downtown, Weeby Brewing, Fall Street Brewing, Montezuma Winery, and then Cayuga Wine Trail is going to kind of have like a variety from a lot of their members there. So we've got 11 vendors in total right now. Again, beer, wine, food. You can expect shrimp, pulled pork, fresh beer, cold wine, meatballs.
The essentials.
And the essentials, yes.
Essentials.
Yeah. And pizza. Mark's is just going to be slinging slices all night long. He's going to allow people to order off the menu. He'll waive the ordering fee, and he'll deliver it right down to people's park for you too. Because that's the other thing, with these tasting events, we appreciate the vendors so much because they're donating their food and their time and their product. which nowadays is it's tough to do. You know, we were talking about expenses and how everything has gone up in price. For them to have the ability to still be able to donate their product, we want to be able to kind of give them back a little bit too. So we offer them the ability to sell if they want. So wineries, they can sell a bottle, they can sell a glass. Breweries, you can sell a 6-pack if that's what you have canned. Simply Homemade, if you want to sell mini baguettes to go with your meatballs or to take home with you. Absolutely. You know, you have to provide a tasting,
Yeah.
but we want to at least give you the ability. And if you sell some, awesome. If you don't, you know, there was a chance. But again, you know, with the vendors coming back and you know, we were talking about all the events going on. A lot of vendors that want to participate. There's also so many other events going on that maybe, you know, they might have the same vision as what Tasting Tunes is, or it might just be a general tasting event. But again, there's so many different things going on. It's you know hard to really get just jam packed vendors and everything of that sort. But
And we were talking about that coming in is, you know, the challenge of not only keeping something like this going, but finding the vendors when there's so much competition for there's events all over the Finger Lakes, and a lot of businesses, even if they're based here in Seneca Falls or Seneca County, they're traveling to other events in other places, and they usually only have so much time to go around. When it comes to organizing, I would assume this is probably, I know you guys have 4 signature events throughout the year, but I would assume they kind of all take a year to plan, more or less, right?
certainly, yeah. And you know, we've gone through so many renditions of like the date for this particular event, even before I came aboard a couple of years ago. It used to be later in August, but now you're competing with the state fair.
Yeah.
Now these vendors who used to have summer help or their college staff, they're gone back to school. So we decided, okay, we noticed that as an issue, so we moved it up into August. Which, you know, a couple weeks, give or take, it's not really going to hurt you in terms of the planning process. But we had to keep that in mind that, okay, these restaurants or these wineries or vendors, they've got the staff still there working for them earlier in the year. And also now those bigger events that, you know, like the State Fair or the Brew Fest, I think there's a large Brew Fest that happens around that same time or middle of August or whatever it might be. You know, again, try to be cognizant of some of those. You know, we're not really trying to compete with those straight up, but there are things going on. So I mean, it's just something that you have to kind of plan around. But you know, Tasting Tunes, it runs itself, but it doesn't. You know, there's still all the coordination of getting everyone there, making sure, you know, insurances are set and all that, because you know, with liability with alcohol and all that. The town's been great to work with. You know, Missy and her crew setting up the snow fence, and you know, Scaglione Tent Company is providing the tents for us, and Northeast College is donating some high tops and chairs. So, you know, kind of utilizing all those resources in different aspects, and just a matter of setting them in place prior, and then it's kind of like autopilot once the event comes, because you just hope people just continue to eat and drink, and when it's done, you just tear everything down.
How do you keep it fresh? How do you keep an event like this fresh, especially when there are so many other, similar events?
Sure.
There's lots of tasting events. There's lots of, you know, micro festivals, I'll call them, across the region. How do you keep it fresh without it becoming kind of what everything else is?
Yeah, I think one part of it is, you know, the music. You know, you try to find someone, you try to spread the wealth. There's so many great musicians and artists in this area. You know, we used to have Steve McLean, Acoustic Vibes, and he was wonderful. And, you know, he played for the past couple of years, and then, you know, you kind of see, all right, who's available? Who's also a large draw at the same time? Nate Michaels. Nate Michaels is definitely a local favorite. So, you know, having him be a part of this for maybe his first year playing in it, I'm not sure if he's done it before, but, you know, having kind of switching up the music a little bit. Certainly the vendors, trying to incorporate different vendors each year. I mean, you've got your usual ones that come every year and participate, but again, new places come about, you know, you try to get them involved. If you know, the raffle stuff, if you try to provide, you know, different larger ticket items, you know, that may entice people to you know, to buy a ticket or something of that sort, or you do you know, special promotions or ticket giveaways, you know, stuff like that, to just get people talking about it, get them engaged, have them checking the event page on Facebook or what it might be. Without getting too crazy and trying to spend too much. Those are some of the smaller ways that we can kind of just keep it a little more fresh year after year.
Is the competitive side of this a little easier to manage because it's during the week, it's on a Thursday, instead of it being on a Friday or a Saturday where I'd imagine things might get a little more chaotic?
Yeah, so I mean, you think about it, right? Weekends, restaurants they definitely don't have the time.
Yeah, no.
And if and for the wineries, a lot of them they get enough foot traffic through their tasting rooms where, they're again we go back to the whole donation of product aspect, right? They're making killings through people coming in and doing tastings and buying cases of wine and whatnot. But during the week, it might be a little slower, but it also gives them a chance to get in front of people who may have never had their product before.
Yeah.
Or if people are putting on, if they're doing dishes that they don't necessarily have on their menu during the time, it gives them a chance to be creative and, provide a unique product and basically showcase, hey, this is what we could do if you want to do a catering event. We have the ability to kind of showcase different offerings, and here's a chance for us to do that.
You mentioned is this the fourth event? Is this the fourth event for Generations?
This is the last of the 4 marquee events. We've got 2 golf tournaments, the right to run, and then Tasting Tunes.
And you said come Monday, you're planning
Friday.
for next come Friday, you're
yeah.
planning for next year.
Yes.
It starts immediately. There's no reprieve.
Yeah. I mean, we all take a sigh of relief and make sure, we go through the whole check presentation. But yeah, I mean, you talk about, trying to do new things. What are some of those things that we can at least get ahead of now that we could potentially incorporate for next year? Yeah. But with the solicitations for sponsorships and that's really what takes the most time. And it's with 4 events that rely heavily on sponsorships. Going to a lot of those same businesses 4 times a year it's tough. Mm-hmm. And again, we're very grateful for all the sponsors that help us out with all of our events, especially this one, because sponsors that's where a lot of everything is kind of taken care of at the end.
Yeah. Weather can't change it, right?
No.
You can't change it. Forecast looks okay right now.
Yeah.
But I would imagine at some point here in the past the weather hasn't cooperated. Talk to us a little bit about the space. You've got plenty of overhead, so if there are a few showers, it's not going to be the end of the world, right?
I can tell you the past 2 years, it just downpoured right before the event started, and then it stopped, and then it came out, the sun was shining, and it was a beautiful evening. Maybe a little on the sticky portion of it,
sure.
But People's Park really holds water well. So we haven't dealt with any muddy messes. Again, all the vendors are underneath tents, so they're shielded from the elements, whether it's hot sun or rain. The obviously the large 40 by 60 tent that's got a lot of great coverage. But yeah, it's always something that, especially having an outdoor event, it's always something that's in the back of your head. And during this time, well, really this part of where we live, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you can kind of rule out snow at this point, but
thank God.
Yes, thank God. But yeah, right now, the forecast looks good, better than it has in previous years. But when you see 90% sometimes, and Tuesday night, we were supposed to get torrential downpour, nothing. I'm sure you guys got golf league in, you were able to play, but
Sure did.
But yeah, it's a crapshoot. You really you don't know. You just have to take it and run with it. I mean, you can't. We're not going to cancel the event. It's rain or shine. Unfortunately, this hurricane down south is kind of spreading its legs a little bit further up here than we'd like, but it's Mother Nature. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah. When you think about this Tasting Tunes coming up, compared to the last couple that I'm sure you've attended since you've planned, what are you most looking forward to? If I got to corner you and say, what food item are you most looking forward to?
Geez, food. Oh, don't make me play favorites here. But first off, our ticket sales are doing very well this year, and it's really great to see. People are buying them in bulk more this year. 10, you buy 10, you get 2 free type of thing. So we've been seeing a lot of that. We printed 350 tickets, and I think we're at like the 323 area. Online is, people wait to buy them online until they fully are ready to pull the trigger for, the weather aspect.
Yeah.
But food, I love all of it. I think the one thing that I am most excited to try is Perfect Pair, because I have not yet eaten at their establishment, and I feel so bad because they've certainly given me enough time to come in there, but they stopped in yesterday. We had a great talk, and they're doing some smoked pork over focaccia, so I'm very interested to try what they've got, and of course shrimp. You can't go wrong with shrimp, and the sauce that Kyle the head chef over at Red Brick Pub makes, it pairs very well with what he's got going on. But still, all of it.
Yeah, everything.
Everything.
Go there with an empty stomach is probably the best advice you could get.
Yeah. And then if you're not satisfied, then you know what? Those restaurants are still open afterwards. If you're looking for to-goes or you want to go dine in.
Do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me, Josh.
Best of luck with everything tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'm sure it's going to go wonderfully.
It will.
Hey, if you enjoyed the show, remember to tap like, share, and subscribe over there on YouTube. Jim will be back in 2 weeks. For everyone here at FingerLakes1.com, I'm Josh Durso. We'll see you next time.